This quilt is honoring my grandfather's 29 original code talkers. During the war, the code talkers were saving the world, saving people's lives by speaking our beautiful Navajo language. Susan Hudson Nisle, Kiani Nisle, Deschini Pashasin Tabaha Dashache, Nakai Diné Shinali. I'm from Sheet Springs, New Mexico, Navajo Reservation. I went to the National Museum of American Indians in D.C., and I was talking about my quilts. And this guy goes, "What's a Navajo doing making star quilts? That's just Lakotas." People associate quilts with a certain tribe or certain area. Me being Navajo, they think I should be weaving, doing baskets, pottery, and jewelry. I can quilt. In the traditional Navajo way, the only one that's perfect is the Great Spirit and the Spirit Helpers. And so I do make a lot of mistakes, but I try to make it as close as possible. I just like that. It has to look a certain way, or it drives me crazy. I started sewing when I was around 9 years old because we were really poor. My mother is the one that taught me how to sew. As I would be sewing and stuff, and if something was wrong, she would slap my hand. And I never knew why. Then I found out my mother had went to the boarding school and to realize that she was hit if she didn't sew in a perfect way. So that started making sense to me. I always remember what she went through so I can be here. Ever since I was little, I just have these dreams, and it's just like in the old days, those penny machines. You put your penny in there, and you can wind it, and you see them moving. Well, sometimes it click, 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 and I'll see pictures, and then one will stop. And if it's a good one, it goes down here like in a file. If not, it'll keep going this way. Sometimes these dreams, they're really, really dramatic. It's just like my ancestors telling me the stories and what they went through. Sometimes I just wake up crying, and then I'll just start praying. And it'll be a process like that. And when I've maybe cried 4 times, I know I'm gonna make that. When I had my kids, well, of course, they needed shoes, they needed this. I realized that people like star quilts and they wanted them, and I can sell them. Senator Ben Nighthorse Campbell, he would have giveaways, so I would sell him my star quilts. And then one day, Senator Campbell goes, your stuff's kind of boring. I was like, okay. And, I'm like, oh. So we started talking. And he says, well, what kind of art form do you like? And I told him I liked ledger art. I was fascinated with the story. It wasn't just the Plains Indians, it was my tribe too. When they put us on the reservations, the Indian agents would come, they would get ledgers, and they would draw on it, and they were telling stories. That was what you used. He says, well, do something like that. And so that's how I started to make ledger quilts. This is basically my family story, all the way from Nabana, all the way down to my 3 times great-grandmothers. My great-grandfather, my great-grandmother, my grandparents, my mother. And it's to honor all the women in the world, this side and the other side, for the strength that they have. Sisters, what you guys doing?
We're sewing. We're doing a baby quilt.
Who did the binding and backing?
I did. Me and her.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Us as Navajos, we use food as medicine, so, it brings the community together, brings our family together, and we also get to learn. Every time there's something new, there's somebody teaching you something.
My clan is Kia'ani. That means towering house. When Changing Woman came, she made 4 major clans, and Kia'ani was one of them. She's a matriarch. Right. The Navajo way is you are who your mother is. That's how we get our clans.
So she says that her grandma was towering house, Kia'ani, and she says, so that's what I am, and of course so are you, she says. Not too far from here, just along the ridge, she was born, and she says there's still some ruins and stuff from where they lived, and now she lives here.
This one?
Her mom had 16 kids. They have all gone home, and she's the only one that's still here. She says she learned weaving from her mother and her aunts, and she said when she first started, her weaving would be kind of crooked, and then now she does it really good. She says she could sell her rugs anywhere towards the east, to the south, to the north, but she says she takes it to the trading post.
I made that one.
You made that one? That was cute. When I first started quilting, it was more survival. As I started doing the ledger quilts, that's when I started becoming an activist. What I wanted to do was to tell our story, tell my story, tell my mother's story, tell my grandmother's story. This is the long walk of the Navajos. I'm showing how much power the soldiers had. The soldiers could determine who was gonna live, who was gonna die, who was gonna eat, who was gonna get medical attention, who they were gonna sell. We're a matriarch system. But the government, they didn't want to deal with the women, so they empowered the men. So what I'm showing is the men signing the treaty. And when they did that, the old ways were gone forever. I can't, never in my life, imagine what they went through. Never. My agreements with every museum is that if my children, my grandchildren, my descendants want to see the quilt, that they open the door to let them in, because this is their legacy too.
This Susan Diné, she wants to give this to you, yeah.
Oh. People always ask me, don't you feel bad when you give them away? I go, no, that's what they're for, they're stories. I'm like, I made them for a reason. They're gonna go someplace and go to the right place, and they're going to be shown, and the story's gonna go on. My descendants, I want them to be proud of who they are, to be proud of being Kia'ani, to be proud of being Diné. I want them to know that I cared enough about them to keep the story going.